Hi, I'm Angie O'Brien from East Haldeman Hospice. Welcome to East Haldeman Hospice series of educational videos for caregivers walking in my shoes. Topic 11, how to communicate with someone with a life-limiting illness. The knowledge that death is not far away can color all aspects of daily life. Feelings of shock, numbness, disbelief, panic, helplessness, and hopelessness are all common. Despite these feelings, it is very important to keep talking with the person who is ill and nearing the end of life. But what do you say? What shouldn't you say? Many people worry about saying the wrong thing and so withdraw and say nothing, thereby isolating the person. However, the last thing a person needs at this time in their life is to feel isolated or alone. Good communication depends on empathy or the sincere belief that I am here with you, I give you hope, and I share in your feelings. Some communication tips. Encourage hope. Help the person maintain realistic hope. Hope rarely disappears, it just changes. Hope for a cure may change to hope for comfort. Be honest. Avoid isolating the person by telling them things like, you are going to get better, or everything will be fine. Follow the person's lead. If they want to reminisce about life or talk about death, then do exactly that. The more you listen, the more you can hear. Silence is important. Do not force conversation. If the person wants to talk, listen and talk. If they don't want to talk, don't. Accept the person's disappointment, then move on. If the person dwells on life's disappointments, acknowledge the disappointment, validate their feeling, and say things like, I know this is so hard, then talk about positive memories. Accept the person's feelings. Do not argue with the person in denial. Denial may be the best defense mechanism that helps that person cope, and caregivers have no right to take that away. Use open-ended questions like, there is a large part of you that believes that you do not have. What part of you does believe that you have? Respect that a person can hear you. Never talk about the person without acknowledging them and including them in the conversation. The sense of hearing is often the last to go. Do not take anger or resentment personally. Remember the old expression that if we take our frustration on those, we take out our frustrations on those we trust the most. Be solution focused rather than problem focused. You cannot change the past, but you can change what happens from now on. You will start to be solution oriented once you are aware that you cannot change certain facts or problems. There's nonverbal communication. Nonverbal communication is a powerful way of communicating. Sometimes it is difficult for us to listen because the other person isn't talking, but that doesn't mean they're not communicating. All people, sick or well, use facial expressions and body language to communicate. As a caregiver, you should be highly attuned to all communication from that person that you are caring for, or even when the person communicates without using words. Active listening. Listening is one of the most important skills that you will use as a caregiver. How well you will listen to the person that you are caring for will have a direct impact on your relationship with that person and others. Given how important listening is in our lives, you would think that we'd all be better at it. In fact, research tells us that we remember about 25% of what we hear. One of the reasons that we don't hear as much as we should is because we aren't listening fully or actively. To listen fully means to pay attention to what is being said beneath the words. You listen to not only the music, but to the essence of what is being said. Something Peter Senge shared with us. To listen actively, follow these steps. Pay attention. Look at the speaker directly. Put aside distracting thoughts. Don't mentally prepare for a rebuttal. Avoid being distracted by environmental factors, for example, side conversations. Listen to the speaker's body language. Show that you're listening. Nod occasionally, smile and use other facial expressions. Note your posture and make sure it is open and inviting. No crossed arms. Encourage the speaker to continue with small verbal comments like yes, Provide feedback. Paraphrase what you have heard by putting it in your own words, and then reflect on what you have heard. Ask open-ended questions to clarify certain points. What do you mean when you say so-and-so? Is an example of an open-ended question because it encourages the person to say more. Is this what you mean? Is an example of a closed-ended question because the person can simply say yes or no. Sometimes it is appropriate to use closed-ended questions and sometimes it isn't. When you need a precise answer, for example, how would you like your eggs this morning? Then a closed-ended question will work just fine. When it comes to thoughts and feelings, open-ended is the right choice. Defer judgment. Allow the speaker to finish each point before asking questions. Don't interrupt with counter-arguments. Be patient. Silence is okay. Accept what the person is saying, however different it may be from what you think. Respect and validate the feelings being shared. Treat the other person in a way that you think he or she would want to be treated. Use I statements. Try using I statements. I know you didn't enjoy the dinner tonight. Let's talk about my being late because I know that's really bothering you. Say things like, I want to help and I need you to tell me how. What to say and what not to say to a person with life-limiting illness. People probably wonder what they should say to a person with life-limiting illness. What is okay to say? How are you doing with all of this? Are you feeling sad? What can I do for you? I'm here and I want to listen. Please tell me what you are thinking. It isn't fair, is it? Take all the time you need. Now, what's not okay to say? Death is a blessing. I understand how you feel. You have your whole life ahead of you. You'll feel worse before you feel better. Something good will come of this. Be strong. Communicating with people who cannot speak. Don't be afraid to talk. Share things from your life. Read to the person. Look at the person in the eyes and smile. Even ask the person to blink once for yes or twice for no. Touch the person. A gentle touch of the hand, a stroke of the hair, a kiss on the cheek or forehead can all be welcome gestures of affection. Make cue cards or picture cards to help you understand what the person would like. And remember, you are not alone, and don't be afraid to ask for help. This concludes topic 11, how to communicate with someone with a life-limiting illness. This video has been made possible through the generous grant provided under the Resilient Communities Fund of the Ontario Trillium Foundation.